Ravi was a quiet young man from a small village, surrounded by towering mountains and dense forests. He had always doubted himself, believing he was weaker and less capable than others. Whenever he tried something new, his inner voice whispered, "You're not good enough. You will fail." His village was suffering from a terrible drought. The river had dried up, and the wells were empty. The fields were cracking, and the cattle were dying. Every day, the villagers prayed for rain, but the skies remained clear. The village elders gathered to discuss the crisis. "We need to find a water source," one of them said. "There must be a hidden lake or stream in the mountain. But who will go?" someone asked. The villagers hesitated. The mountain was dangerous, full of wild animals, steep cliffs, and unknown paths. Then, an elder turned to Ravi. "Ravi, you should go." Ravi's heart pounded. "Me?" he asked, shocked. "You are young and strong. You can do it," the elder said firmly. Ravi looked at the villager. Their faces were filled with desperation and hope. He wanted to refuse, but something inside him stopped him. I will try," he finally said, though doubt still gnawed at his mind. The next morning, Ravi set off with a small bag of food and a flask of water. The sun was scorching, and sweat trickled down his back as he climbed the rocky trail. The path was rugged, with thorns scratching his leg. Within hours, exhaustion set in. His muscles ached, and every step felt heavier. "Why did I agree to this?" he thought. "I am not strong enough." His mind was filled with fear. What if he got lost? Or what if he never made it back? Just then, he heard a faint chirping sound. Curious, he followed the sound and found a small bird trapped between two rocks. One of its wings was broken. Ravi knelt beside it. "You're hurt," he whispered softly. Carefully, he picked up the tiny creature. He sighed deeply. "You are weak, just like me." The bird chirped softly, looking up at him with its bright eyes. Something about the bird struck Ravi. It was injured and vulnerable, yet it was still alive, still fighting to survive. He tore a piece of cloth from his shirt and gently wrapped it around the bird's wing, then placed it under the shade of a tree. "You have to be strong," he said gently. "You must not give up." As darkness fell, Ravi struggled to find shelter. The temperature dropped, and the cold wind bit at his skin. He curled up under a large tree, shivering uncontrollably. Suddenly, he heard a deep growl. His breath caught in his throat. Two glowing eyes stared at him from the bushes. It was a wild animal. Ravi's hands trembled with fear. He grabbed a stick and held it in front of him, his heart pounding. The growling grew louder and closer. His heart pounded so hard he thought it would explode. "I can't fight. I am not strong enough," he thought helplessly. But then something inside him snapped. "No," he thought. "I have come this far. I won't let fear stop me now." Summoning all his courage, he swung the stick wildly and made himself appear bigger. He yelled with all his strength, trying to scare the animal away. The creature hesitated for a moment, then turned and disappeared into the forest. Ravi collapsed to the ground, breathing heavily. His whole body trembled, but for the first time, he realized something. He had faced his fear and survived. The next morning, Ravi continued his journey. The mountain became steeper, and his legs burned with pain. Every step felt impossible to take. He slipped on loose gravel, falling hard on his hands and knees. Blood trickled from his palm. He gritted his teeth, pushing through the pain. "I can't do this," he thought. But then he remembered the little bird. Even with a broken wing, it did not give up. He took a deep breath and forced himself to stand. Hours passed slowly. His stomach rumbled with hunger. His throat was parched, and his entire body screamed for rest. And then he saw it, a hidden lake, sparkling under the sunlight like a jewel. Tears filled his eyes. He had done it. He had found the water. With newfound strength, Ravi rushed back to the village, stumbling but refusing to stop. When he arrived, the villagers gathered around him eagerly. "There's water," he shouted joyfully. "A hidden lake in the mountains." Cheers erupted, and people wept with joy. Ravi had saved them. The villagers, once hopeless, now had a chance to survive. A few days later, Ravi returned to the spot where he had left the bird. To his delight, it was no longer on the ground. He looked up and saw it flying, soaring high into the sky, free and strong. A smile spread across his face. "You made it," he whispered softly, "and so did I." The moral of the story is, no matter how small or weak you feel, never underestimate yourself. You are stronger than you realize. Like the bird, you can rise above your struggles and soar. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thank you so much for watching.